Hi everyone, Kevin here again. In this short video we're going to look at the subject of counting notes written in music. So let's dive straight in.
The first note we'll look at is the semibreve or whole note. You can see it here on the stave. It looks like a circle with a hole in the middle. It lasts for 4 beats of music. Now, in order to demonstrate a semibreve, I'm going to put a metronome on, which is going to tick regularly, in this case at 60 beats per minute, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and a semibreve is going to last for 4 of those ticks. I'll play one on the keyboard for you, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can hear that the semibreve lasts for 4 of those beats. If we take our semibreve and halve its length, so create a note that lasts for only 2 beats, this note is called a minim or half note. You can see it on the bar shown here. It looks exactly like a semibreve, except it's now got a stem. The stem can point downwards or upwards and has no effect on the length of the note. So if we come back to our metronome at 60 beats per minute and I play minims, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I put minims together with the semibreve, we'll hear the difference between the two. 1, 2, 3, 4. Semibreve. 1, 2, 3, 4. And minims. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back to semibreve. 1, 2, 3, 4. And minims. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can hear there that the minims are twice as fast as the semibreve. If we then halve our minims so that we end up with notes lasting just 1 beat, we get what we call a crotchet or a quarter note. Here we can see crocketts. We can see that those are filled in circles with a stem like the minims. These sound like this with our metronome still at 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we put those together with the minims and the semibreve, we can hear them together. We start with the semibreve, then go to minims, and then play crotchets. It'll sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Semibreve. 1, 2, 3, 4. Minims. 1, 2, 3, 4. Crotchets. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see that each note is subsequently getting twice as fast as the previous size note. Just as we've halved all of the previous notes, we can halve our crotchets so that we get notes that last half a beat. These we call quavers or 1/8 notes. Here what we have to do is to play 2 notes per beat. So in order to count that, we use the word and for the second note after the beat. So our counting will be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm leaving the metronome at 60 beats per minute so that you can hear the difference, and the counting will go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you can now see that even though the pulse of the music is still only 60 beats per minute, the notes that we're playing are now getting faster and faster within that music. Here we can see the quaver. At the top of the screen you can see a quaver on its own. It looks exactly the same as a crotchet, a black note with a stem. In this case though, we've added a flag, which signifies that it's a quaver. Where several quavers are grouped together, we don't put flags on each of them, we join them with a horizontal line, which we call a beam, which you can see on the notes in the bar in the lower part of the screen. Finally for today, we're going to see what happens if we halve a quaver. In this case, we get notes called semiquavers, which you can see here on the screen. On their own, the semiquaver looks like the symbol at the top of the screen, which is exactly the same as a quaver, but with an extra flag. So we now have two flags. When several of these notes come together, we don't write them all out individually with flags. We simply add two beams, as you can see in the bar. These notes come along at 4 per bar. And to count these, we use the phrase 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and so if we use that with the metronome, still set at 60 beats per minute, it's going to sound something like this. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... You'll notice that these are now the fastest notes so far that we've had to play or sing. Notice also that the pulse of the music still remains 60 beats per minute, which was our 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I now play a semibreve followed by a bar of semiquavers, you'll see the two extremes we've got so far. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... So that was our longest note and our shortest note so far. Now the tempo of the music determines the overall length of the notes. So there I was playing at 60 beats per minute. Had I been playing at, let's say, 120 beats per minute, which sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I now play a semibreve at 120 beats per minute, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It still lasts for 4 beats, but now that the 4 beats are coming along at a faster rate, the overall speed of the music has increased. The same will have happened to the minims. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the rest of the notes as well. So relative to each other, the notes have remained the same. The minim is still twice as fast as the semibreve. In a later episode, we'll look at notes that last for other lengths, such as 3 beats or 5 beats.
You will have noticed that we have 2 different names for each of the notes that we have been looking at. The terms semibreve, minim, crotchet, quaver and semiquaver are English terms, whereas the names whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note and 16th note are American terms. These American terms relate to the number of each of those notes that appear in a bar of 4/4 time. So there is 1, a whole note, semibreve. There are 2 half notes or minims. There are 4, hence quarter notes, crotchets or quarter notes. There are 8 quavers and 16 semiquavers. That concludes our look at the basic notes in our Reading for Music studies. We'll see you in the next one.